Good morning and welcome to Speaking Free with Christopher Long and Robert Budd. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be with everyone.
To recap for our listeners, Speaking Free is a monthly radio show where we have the opportunity to feature guest speakers who join us in a discussion about topics that matter to Long Island. Family Residences and Essential Enterprises is a multi-service organization celebrating its 41st year of service. And we accomplish our mission of supporting people to realize their full potential through a array of services that we provide to Long Islanders and people that are differently able throughout the greater New York City area. Those services include, but are not limited to, housing, education, youth, day services, integrated health, crisis respite services, and a whole host of other community-based services, one of which is employment, which will be one of the priority topics that we discussed today. And we have three esteemed professionals that have joined us for this discussion today, and I'd like to introduce each of them to you. So first, join me in welcoming Andrew Cohen, Vice President of Employment Services for Free.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Robert.
We have the Honorable Senator Elaine Phillips joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
And John Kiernan for Davidoff Hutcher Citron. Good morning, John.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Andrew, we're going to begin talking to you. If you can just share with us a little bit about the valued affiliate of Free, the Rehabilitation Institute, which is based in Westbury, provides a wide range of services. So just give us a sense of what TRI is all about.
Absolutely. Well, TRI, the Rehabilitation Institute, was founded in 1965 by Dr. Newhouse and Louise Freeman, both who saw the importance of work and vocational training for individuals with disabilities and the value and the importance that it brought to their lives. Currently, since that time, TRI has placed about 11,000 individuals in gainful employment. So that's a pretty big number. Currently, we have over 250 individuals that are employed with over 32 companies in the local area. Those companies include TJ Maxx, Applebee's, Bidewee, City Field, American Maintenance, and of course Stu Leonard's, which is in the general area right downstairs. Mm-hmm. While we're talking about TRI, I just want to thank Senator Phillips who came to TRI and toured our facility in December, and I think clearly saw the value of our programs, and she did help fund. She gave us some funding, so I do want to thank you on the air. We certainly appreciate it. So that, in a nutshell, is TRI. And I know as we continue to talk, we'll discuss some of our programs and the populations that we support.
Mm-hmm. Now, employment, I realize, is a continuum of supports and services. So we're going to talk a little bit about each one of those services. If we could begin with transition to work, why don't you describe to us what transition to work is all about?
Sure. Well, one program that we have is an approved New York State independent non-public school, and the program's called Transition to Work, which serves students ages 15 to 21, and we have contracts with 8 local school districts, and those districts are Farmingdale, Hempstead, Herricks, Island Trees, Roosevelt, Syosset, Uniondale, and Westbury.
How do you receive referrals for students from the school districts?
So the referrals come from each district. There's a transition coordinator at each district. And generally, we attend certain transition fairs during the year, and we meet with parents, we meet with students, and those who are, and of course, school district personnel. So those who are interested, they go back to their districts, we receive the referrals, and, interested students come to us for an eval just to make sure that they are appropriate for the program. Each student does have an IEP, individualized education program. So, part of what we do at Transition to Work is, we provide some of the life and vocational skills that are required. So, for success after graduation. But we do work on their vocational, academic, and socialization goals at TRI.
So that's a center-based program, or do they have the opportunity to integrate?
What makes this program so unique is that each student is provided with 2 internship experiences weekly. So we go out to local employers, we'll go out to libraries. The students are, it's so important to go out into the community so that they experience customers, they experience and they get acclimated to a work environment. That's so important. So by the time they reach graduation, they're either work ready or they're ready for another type of program as adults.
Mm-hmm. So it's an extraordinary opportunity for our young people.
Absolutely. Currently, we have 24 students, and additionally, we have a summer program. So Transition to Work operates a summer program, and what makes that program so unique is that they provide transportation training. So as you know, Long Island is getting around for anybody is very difficult, accessing public transportation. So we do train the students in taking the Long Island Railroad, public buses, and now latest and greatest is Uber. Everyone has an app, and so it's very, very important, because if you have a job and you can't get to your job,
Uber's your answer.
Uber is the answer.
So if you could just recap for families and young people that are interested in transition to work, what is it that they need to do to access that service?
Basically, talk to your transition department at your local high school where your loved one is currently attending. What's great also is that the districts provide transportation. So most of the students that attend transition to work attend for full days. We do have a handful that attend for half days, and once they are with us at Tri, we obviously provide the transportation to the internship sites.
Excellent. Okay, moving along to Access VR services. If you could just describe to us, what the acronym stands for, and the array of services that are available to a person seeking that support.
Absolutely. So Access VR stands for Adult Continuing Career and Education Services - Vocational Rehabilitation. Most people know it by their former name, which is VESID. So essentially this program was set up for adults, although next year that's really going to change as the services really focus on youth transitional services. However, essentially the process is that individuals will come to Tri. They'll receive a DVE, which is called a diagnostic vocational evaluation, meaning that, like, for example, if it was me and I came and I said I want to cook, the folks at Tri would quickly evaluate me and learn that I can't. And so but they might find that I have an analytical mind, so something like data entry or an office tech program might better suit me. One of the things that we really want to do is find what someone's true aptitudes and skills are, so that we're placing them correctly. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they come for the evaluation. After that, figure out where their strengths are. Typically, after that, they'll enter a work readiness program, which typically runs for 40 days. But we want to obviously get their resume ready. We want to get them trained in interviewing. We want to get them prepared for receiving instruction. You're going to have a supervisor maybe for the first time in your life who's, giving you instruction and also constructive criticism. So how to really, prepare to handle that and take that and then to use that to, better your work experience. We also offer placement services through Access. So, as I stated earlier, just this year alone in 2018, we've placed people at 32 different employers, and it's really a diverse network of employers that we have. And then, we provide job coaching too, just to ensure that someone has success on the job site.
If you could just touch on BPSS services as well as a part of the Access Continuum.
Sure. BPSS really operates under New York State Ed. So that program is a little more involved. Typically, those programs run for 6 months. And those programs are, we have a Department of Health certified kitchen. So we offer food service training, building maintenance, office tech, record keeping, bookkeeping, and stock and inventory. So we offer all those different programs, and after 6 months, we have a very good record of placement. So the end in mind for all of our programs is really competitive employment.
Mm-hmm. And for our listeners, the BPSS stands for the Bureau of Proprietary School Services, which is a licensing arm under the New York State Education Department.
That's correct.
So transitioning over to affirmative business opportunities that Tri has launched over the years, and you have several. So perhaps we can begin by talking about some of the jobs that people actually harness.
Sure.
Training.
I think, in talking about this, we look at our strengths, and we have trained a lot of folks in building maintenance. And so when we looked at, Freeze building over in Old Bethpage, we saw that had a contractor and it was very expensive, and we kind of took a look at our population and said, hey, wait a second, we have a bunch of people who would like the opportunity to clean this building on a daily basis. So as employees earning at least minimum wage, they've been cleaning that building now for a little over 5 years. So that's been successful.
An exceptional job. They do an exceptional job.
Absolutely, which also paves the way. We have a bunch of different contracts with NYSID, which is New York State Industries for the disabled, and with under that partnership, we're a member agency under NYSID. We partner with a corporate partner called American Maintenance, and they're a great business. They do all the right things for all the right reasons, and we have over 200 people employed under those contracts that provide janitorial services at SUNY Stony Brook, Nassau Community College, and SUNY Old Westbury. In addition, like I said, we have our kitchen, so we kind of drum up a little additional catering business. So we are always looking to get our name out and have people order directly from us.
Talk to us a little bit about Try-Go Green.
Try-Go Green is very unique. We have the opportunity to market and really label, essentially bottle very good cleaning products, and the individuals who are being trained to try do all of it. They label it, they bottle it, they learn how to ship the product, and so the products are as effective as anything else on the market. What we're really trying to do is find a big box store. It's one of our short-term goals, so that we can have a retail outlet. And that would be great. Obviously, the more we can bottle, the more our individuals earn, and the greater the business, it becomes more successful.
And Andrew, before we transition to another one of our speakers, if you can just talk to us a little bit about those services that are funded by the Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, another one of our great government partners.
Sure. So also at TRI, we have a rehabilitation program for obviously for individuals with disabilities. And we provide services for roughly a little over 50 people supported now. Also, we try to provide some vocational training in that program as well. And they go out to some volunteer sites, including some pet shelters and anything to really acclimate individuals in any type of job site. You want to spark that interest. You really want to show people that they can be successful, because when it comes to employment, one of the things that you're always trying to overcome is that fear of failure. Individuals who never worked before, and so the individuals and sometimes their families are, like, what if we don't succeed? So you always want to kind of prepare them with training and get them to the job site as often as possible. So that's
so just to recap, we begin the process with the diagnostic vocational evaluation, and that leads us to the individual's interest, and then ultimately you provide the service that builds the bridge to sustainable employment and self-sufficiency.
Correct.
Excellent work.
Correct.
We really appreciate all of what you do.
Well, thanks so much. Thanks so much for having me.
Transitioning over to you, Bob.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
TRI is a magical place, and we invite people to take the time to visit it. And Senator, thank you so much for taking your time. We know how incredibly busy you are. The Senator shared she's been on the go since 4:30 this morning before sunrise. So thank you for being with us today, and for the time you took to go to TRI and to really understand not only the wonderful work that takes place there, but the fantastic individuals who benefit from those services.
Right.
Without elected officials like yourselves who really understand the vital nature of the program, we would not be in existence today, and that's a literal statement. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But I know you are also came by your interest to this naturally, and in being able to support people who are differently able. So perhaps you can share with our audience a little bit about that.
Well, thank you. So yes, I'm fortunate to represent the 7th Senate District, and in addition to TRI, we have Spectrum Designs, which is a firm that was founded to train and employ individuals on the autism spectrum, and we have the Viscardi Center also. So I am truly blessed to have quite a few opportunities to understand the importance of training and employing individuals with disabilities. And I'd like to mention a piece of legislation that passed this year, if I could, because it really ties right into what Andrew was saying. We saw a study that was done by Cornell University. It was the 2015 Disability Status Report, and it showed that 22% of persons with disabilities are employed full-time, compared to 58% of persons without disabilities. And there was also an income discrepancies, a median salary of $65,000 for people without disabilities versus $36,000 median salary for persons with disabilities. So, we looked at what we could do on the legislative side, and we created a small business tax credit for employment of disabled people. And it basically will give a tax credit for small businesses that keep, employ, and retain disabled people with their company for 12 months at more than a minimum of 35 hours of employment per week. So it's passed both houses in the New York State Legislature, and we're waiting for the governor. I don't believe it's been sent to the governor yet, but once it's sent, we're hoping that the governor signs this and it goes into law. Another thing that was done in 2017 was New York Able. And New York Able basically helps New Yorkers with disabilities and their families to cover costs. So what it does is it allows families contributions to be made by individuals, family members, or friends, and it allows to make sure that those individuals with disabilities to save a little money in their own names without risking their supplemental security income, Medicaid, and whatever other benefits they get. So that started in 2017, and I think it's a great program. And if I could mention one more program, is, the New York State Senate has had a long standing support of individuals with disabilities. And in fact, in 1973, the Senate began a path for job training and opportunities to individuals with disabilities. And it's called the New York State Legislative Messenger Service. It was formed, as mentioned, in 1973, and it really emphasizes giving individuals strength and providing support and training and structure to lessen any barriers that are created with their disabilities. So we're proud to continue that support of that program.
Those are three wonderful pieces of legislation. Thank you so much for sharing. And in particular, the last one that you mentioned is so vitally important that we get the word out there, because many people who have access services in the past are very concerned, rightfully so. In some cases, very fear-based. And if you have a mental illness, fear is not good to added anxiety is not a necessary component of wellness.
Right.
And so being able to know that those supports are in place and that people understand how the system works is a vital part of people's wellness.
Right.
So thank you for sharing that.
That's what government's all about, is to provide security, and that means for all individuals.
We appreciate that.
So part of our included and supported philosophy is that we want to help people to find their gifts and their talents and to be able to harness those and share those. In some ways, we always joke around, it's like a big matching game, because as we know, when we're passionate about something and we're doing something, clearly Andrew won't be cooking for us, but but if people get together just over a simple thing like breaking bread, that passion can connect people on the very basic human level. And so part of our philosophy is that partnership and collaboration. I know, John, you have some thoughts on that as well.
Well, let me follow up on what the senator just said. Believe it or not, I was a counsel in the legislature when that program was begun in 1973, and we got to interact with these young people who did a very good job, and some of them are still there, believe it or not. When I was going back, I left as a legislative counsel in 1982, and some of the ones that were very young people delivering things to our office then, I still now meet in the hallway of the Legislative Office Building as one of the representatives, as a member of the Davidoff Hutcher and Citron team representing Free. And I learned from that experience that when I became town supervisor in 1982, I said we could make a positive effort to try and hire some young people who have different disabilities, but put them to work in town hall. And one of the young men from my home village, he had acute visibility problems, but the staff in the Parks Department, and he was a very bright young man, the staff said we could put him to work in the Parks Department taking care of some of the buildings and grounds. And this past winter, he retired with 30 years of service to the town of North Hempstead with a full New York State pension and benefits that he will enjoy until he no longer is with us. So I learned from the experience working in the legislature to do that, and then I went on, and as Commissioner of Parks, my team had a responsibility to take care of the buildings and grounds around the courthouses in Mineola. And my staff interacting, they weren't required to take care of the interior of the buildings. They were required to take care of the exterior of the buildings. And just like Andrew noted, I found out that that was a positive program to hire disabled people, and they take care of the interior maintenance of the courthouses in Nassau County. So it's a very similar program to what you said. The message is that government can and should make a positive commitment to follow these type of programs, and they can gainfully employ people. It's not a handout. It's a real job with real benefits, and it can result in a real pension. So I think that what you're doing with SUNY and Nassau Community College is wonderful, Andrew. It's a terrific program, and others like that are around. Unfortunately, they don't get the kind of publicity and notoriety that they should, but because of work like the Senator is doing in your program, hopefully we can get that message out and in a real positive way build on what's already there.
Very well said. Andrew, Tri also has a partnership with the town of North Hempstead.
We do. So back in, I believe it's 2010, they started Project Independence, which is a program that allows seniors to age in place. And it's a great program. And as we provide a Tri building maintenance program, they came to us and asked us to partner for the Help at Home program. So essentially, oftentimes seniors, and we want seniors to live in a safe and sanitary environment. Oftentimes they're fearful of being a burden to ask, friends or family to come over and help if it's moving heavy, like furniture or something that's in the way, or cleaning their gutters, whatever it may be. So the town set up Project Independence, and so what the seniors do is the town established a number, 311 number. So the seniors dial into that number. They'll say what service they need. And in addition to Help at Home, they also provide transportation to grocery stores and to medical appointments. So it's really a wonderful array of services. But for us at Tri, when they do need help at home, we go over there. We provide a supervisor along with a crew of our trainees, our students, and again, it gives them that real world experience. The seniors, it's a win-win. The seniors benefit, our trainees benefit, and it's a wonderful program.
We can all benefit from Help at Home. That's for sure.
Just don't ask Andrew to come and cook.
You're going to be sorry you shared that.
I know. Well, you're all invited over some coffee and honey bunches of oats anytime.
Well, John, thank you for sharing those wonderful examples. So for our listeners who may not be accessing us through the web, so that you cannot have a visual, I have to tell you, John, I am amazed that you were council in 1973. That gives me hope. Senator, you also have been a wonderful champion, and we want to publicly thank our legislative offices for the support of the Be Fair to Direct Care campaign. One of the challenges that as a field that we face is that there are, and soon to be not enough, people coming into our field. That's a factual demographic that by the year 2020, there will be the baby boomers who are accessing support services will far outnumber the number of people coming into our field. And so we have, for a number of years now, been working to educate people. And I think it was John who said, so many people just don't know what we actually do, and there's so many misunderstandings. So opportunities like this, all the wonderful examples that you shared, and the fact that you are champions who always spread the word is vitally important for the general public and for our elected officials to understand that we are very key and critical to the fabric of our local communities, and that the days of, in quotes, charity are far gone. We are actually thriving local businesses who partner and collaborate with other businesses to create win-win solutions for the needs of our local communities. Part of that, then, is having a workforce that can afford to stay in the field. And Be Fair to Direct Care was our most recent campaign in helping people to understand that we need a living wage in order for people to continue to make this wonderful choice of being in our field. So we wanted to thank you
are
for
welcome.
your support of that
important,
campaign.
very important legislation.
That's great. So we're always amazed how quickly our time goes. We always get a little nervous when we're preparing, thinking will we have enough material, and then we always have too much. So we're right on time today. Three dedicated professionals from three very different perspectives, but with a common value system and a common passion for making a difference in our communities. And a wonderful understanding that when we include all of our citizens and create win-win partnerships, that we all benefit from that. So we want to just thank each of you for all the wonderful support, the opportunities that have been created, and we know the wonderful work that you do will continue to inspire others.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do,
Thank you
too.
for being with us.